viewers, welcome to yet another exciting episode of our What's Your Career video series. I am your host, Tony Ann Hudson, and with me today we have Mrs. Paulette Dugbo. Mrs. Paulette Dugbo, I am gonna draw you on screen and you can help me introduce you. You are the greatest special educational needs and disabilities coordinator.
Yes. My current job at this present time, I'm working with special educational needs, specialised in autism, Down syndrome at this present time. I'm a teacher at the moment. I teach secondary school students. Yeah.
Okay, great. Obviously, that's a very important role to carry. And I just want to welcome you and to say thank you for deciding to be a part of our series. We are happy and elated to have you. So, if you don't mind, Mrs. Dubo, we'll get straight into it.
Okay.
Talk a little about your job. It sounds so great. What can you tell me? Because maybe I want to become a special educational needs slash disabilities coordinator and teacher like you are. So, what can you tell me?
My career started in special educational needs. I carried out a certificate in teaching for secondary school and further educational needs, and that's called the PETALS. That led me on to working with early educational needs children. I did not have a certificate at that time, but then I managed to obtain a qualification while I worked as a practitioner for early years, level 3 in early years education. And that's from the age of 6 months to 5 years, preschool year. That qualification gave me the ability not only to work with special needs children, but also to be a nursery manager, start my own business, nursery deputy manager, or just highlight on working with special needs early years children. That career came to an end, but because of my experience of working with special needs, I had a marvelous opportunity to work with special needs students in secondary education. Why did I choose that career? I love working with special educational needs students, children, and adults. I've got about 10 years experience working in that field. What gives me the greatest enjoyment of working with special educational needs is to see their development, their changes, their progress, their personal development, as well as their educational and learning development. Seeing their progress and myself working with these students and children gives me self-worth. It gives me a sense of enjoyment and fulfillment in that career path. It's not only about money, it's about my interactions with the people I come into contact with, as well as their family members, which is very, very important.
I can only imagine it does sound rewarding just listening to it. So it's definitely like a congratulatory moment. Like it shows something so great, and it's an absolute honor to be here with you today. And you even went ahead and answered a question. What inspired you to go into the special needs category? Because I guess most persons we just go for the regular school system then, if I can put it that way.
Yes, yes.
So it's definitely a big deal when you come across somebody who decided to be different and to do something that it requires so much patience. And on this subject of patience, what qualities would I need to have? Because we have some high schoolers right now who are
Mhm.
at the brink of deciding what they want to do next after high school, after doing their subjects. So if I'm interested, what qualities would you say I need to have, or how do I know this may be a fitting job for me?
Okay. You need to have the qualities of caring. You have to have a character to care for others, care for those that are not as advanced as a normal student. I don't like to use the word normal because we're all normal, but we all have learning needs and learning disabilities and so on. But I think my passion was to see that there is a need. It's a great need in terms of special needs in the UK, more so in third world countries. And that's where my passion was, working with special needs, and in order to develop not just my career, but their learning abilities and personal learning abilities in that area of SEN or special educational needs.
I definitely agree, and I can definitely see how that's something valuable to have in this field. But okay, so I need to be caring, and I am caring, and
Mhm.
you're piquing my interest. Where do I start? Where does the journey start for me? What do I need to do now?
Okay. First, you need to have a certificate in teaching assistant, and working a certificate in working with learning and special educational needs children. I acquired that certificate quite a few years ago, and also, like I previously said, when I went into nursery, I needed to have that level 3 qualifications to give me that right to work with, especially more vulnerable children from the ages of 6 months to 5 years. These children, you need patience, you need tolerance, you need to be very careful. You need to be prepared to get your hands dirty. You need to be prepared to be hit, punched, scratched, and so on. Once you have that patience, once you have that tolerance, and it's all about care, it's all about love. Working with these people, if you haven't got the ability to love them where they're at, it's not a job for you.
Gonna be difficult, yeah.
It's going to be very difficult. And once I started to work in that area of my career, I realized this was a need where it was a heart of God. You have to have the heart of God to work with people. Definitely. You have to have that passion. It's not about, I want to pursue my career and get to the top of my scale. You've got to have that empathy to work with special educational needs students and children.
Okay, so just to be clear though, how many years are we looking at? Like we're adding up the years now. How long will it take me to finally reach a place where I can go and I can be great and fulfill my purpose of helping special needs or disabilities children?
Well, in England, it's not many years. For example, if you have a passion to work with special educational needs, and it depends on the career path you've chosen. For example, you could be working in a school, and you decide to go to your supervisor and say, and obviously put forward your request to work with special educational needs. They'll put you on certain educational certificates, like working with SEN children, SEN certificates, just to start working at that first level. Now, obviously you may want to advance, and you have to do more qualifications, more certificates, which is what I did. My certificate in working with as an SEN assistant, then it was my certificate of working with being a teaching assistant or being a teacher, and then a coordinator. You have various more qualifications where you learn about Down syndrome, autism, HDHD, various specialized qualifications. So, like I said, it's got to be a passion. It's got to be a desire. It's not got to be something where it's a quick fix qualification where, okay, I'm doing this and I don't like it anymore. It's got to be something that's God has birthed in your heart. Put it that way. When I started working with special educational needs, it was very difficult because they were very needy, very demanding. You may get some adults that need personal care,
Yes.
and you have to be prepared to provide that personal care. If you're not prepared to provide that personal care, then that's not a career path for that particular individual, And so I was prepared to do personal care. I was prepared to like I say, some of them are quite violent, some of them are very temperamental, and you have to be prepared to be understanding.
Yes.
You can't treat them like an average student. You have to treat them with that extra care and understanding. My current student at the moment, one particular student, I call him my best student. and he's absolutely adorable. He has so much anger management issues, but I've learned so much over the years of working with special needs that he has matured in such an amazing way, and his parents are quite proud of his progress. You have to have that passion to bring out the best in your student. If you haven't got that passion, then that's not the career path for you.
Definitely, I can see that.
Yes.
I can see that.
Yes.
But I know I feel like you've mentioned so many certificates. Tell me, how much money then are we looking at? Like, what did it cost you? And do you know of any scholarship opportunities in that specific area I can look out for, or
Yes.
how can we go about that money?
Okay. Some certificates are not very expensive. Some may be £150 for a 3 months or 6 months training. Some might be you can get an apprenticeship in some certificates where the government may pay an employee about 60-70% of that qualification. And then your employee will pay the 30% or the 20%. It depends on how much the government is willing to pay for that qualification. There are a lot of opportunities in the UK where just to come out of, some people might be employed for quite some time and they want to get back in the working industry. So they may start voluntary work in an organization. And then the organization may say, okay, you seem to be committed enough. We'll put you on an apprenticeship. The apprenticeships are 18 months. So you're working full time, literally, and you're studying as well at the same time. So, and at the end of obviously the apprenticeship, you have this qualification to go off and start either stay in that particular job, be promoted, or you can go out and work in another organization in that area of work, working with SEN students. So there are opportunities. Some of them are expensive. It depends on how far a person wants to go. But I always will suggest that the student will work for an organization, so the organization will fund them. A lot of organizations in the UK work with the government and fund a lot of students to do apprenticeships in the UK.
Okay, thank you for that.
The student will just get a salary, a very minimum salary.
A stipend.
Yes, but the qualifications is paid for.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it does sound like there are some provisions being made for persons with this specific interest. So that's great.
Yes.
But and I know you speak so passionately, Mrs. Dugbo, about having that natural love and care to deal with these persons and the patients. But are there any other benefits other than that fulfillment? And I guess it doesn't get better than that. But to you, are there any other benefits associated with that career?
There are benefits. Where I worked as a practitioner working with special needs, and then I had an opportunity, an awesome, fantastic opportunity, February 2021, to work as a one-to-one with various students, and the salary was an eye-opener. So there are benefits. It depends on the career path that you choose to take and the organization that you choose to work for. I work part-time now, and I get paid more money than I got paid when I was being paid in my full-time job. So that, yes, and that's based on my experience, my qualifications. And so I'm very, very happy with my current job because of the benefits. I'm able to study part-time because I'm doing a HND in business. I'd like to open my own nursery, working with special needs students. So it's dedication, and you've got to be very dedicated. You've got to have the ability to study, and not procrastinate. If I didn't study, I wouldn't have had this opportunity to have such a marvelous job right now. And the job I'm in now is more money than I've ever been paid in my whole entire life. But I'm working part-time.
Fabulous. That's great.
Yes.
That's a dream.
Yes.
We all about doing something we love. So that's
yes.
That's excellent. I
Yes.
love that for you. I love that for you. So I guess it's so easy then for you to maybe tell us what do you love most about being in this career field?
What do I love most? I tell you, I love when I get a card from a student or I get a letter from a student to say, "Thank you so much for all you've done for me. You've helped me here. I don't know what I'll do without you." And
Oh,
oh, just the thought of me going on to another job, they're very sad.
I can
Um,
imagine. Yeah.
and the best thing about my job is going into a working environment, knowing that a student is not willing to do any work, he doesn't want to learn, but by the time I've sat down and finished talking to him, he's getting on with his work.
Wow.
And that's what I love so much. It's about not looking at the situation, looking past the situation, and trying your utmost best to encourage that child to learn, to want to learn. And I think that's the best part of my job is seeing the end result. Some students don't want to learn because they say, "Oh, it's hard, I don't know how to do it." But I go home and I think about other ways of how to get this particular child to learn. And they'll come back and I'll see that they've started to communicate and cooperate with me, and they're starting to learn, and they've mastered what they didn't want to attempt in the first place. That's what I get out of my job. That's the satisfaction when I see somebody not want to do something and then they end up doing it in a spirit of excellence.
That's absolutely beautiful. I could almost cry. It's soul felt, so
Yes.
I can only
Yeah.
imagine. But
Yeah.
obviously, with good things, there are also the not so good things.
Hmm.
So, what would you say is the worst part about being in this career field? There's no bad.
Well, the worst part is, to be quite honest, the worst part is having a student lash out.
Mhm.
But I try not to let it get that far where they get so angry. It's about really valuing and respecting that student, no matter how small they are. They could be two, they could be one. It's about respecting that individual, respecting that person. Once a child has developed a rapport with you and they understand that you respect them, they feel safe with you,
Mm.
then those the barriers when it comes to them hitting you, and it starts to diminish,
Yeah.
it
Mhm.
starts to go down. Any events of any attacks or anything like that, you're starting to develop a good rapport with that student. So, those things are a thing of the past. So that's the worst part of the job. But um, it's part and package. You have to be prepared for an off day. You have to be
Okay.
prepared for a student to be angry,
Mm.
and they can't handle their emotions like me or you. So
Yeah.
they need time. They have triggers, and you need to give them something to calm them down. And I think I wouldn't even call that a horrible side of my job, because it's all a learning curve. You learn how to deal with different students because they're all unique. And you can't kind of like tar every student with the same brush. You've got to think of, okay, this is a trigger for this student, that's a trigger for that student. How can I manage this student and allow them to be encouraged and cooperate once again? So it's about prayer, because I don't go into work
Great.
without praying for my students. I always thank God
Wow.
for my students. So
Great.
yeah, prayer is the biggest part of my job.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. I love that. All right. So you've spoken and you speak with so much passion. I'm convinced I'm caring. I'm convinced I'm patient and loving and can manage this job.
Hmm.
On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, how much would you recommend this job to me?
I would 10%. 10.
10.
I just love working with special. I think it's in my career, working with special needs is the best in my whole entire life. I've had much better jobs, property management jobs in my life, and it's all working with professional people. But working with special educational needs, I don't think any other career can top this one.
That is beautiful. This is it's soul felt. When I say soul felt, I mean I could cry. It just, I can tell that you're doing something you absolutely love, and
Yes,
that's admirable. So
yes.
all
Thank
great
you.
stuff, all great stuff.
Yeah. I'd love to bring it to Jamaica. I
You
really would love to
definitely
bring my
should.
career. Yes.
You
That's
definitely.
my dream.
I think we need some of that, some more of that.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, I think you should look into that.
Yes,
That'll be great.
definitely.
That'll be
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I know it's a little bit different than the, how would I, not to say a traditional career, but if I wanted to learn more or perhaps study how to better relate to persons with special needs and disabilities in order to fit into this
Mhm.
career field, are there any books that you've read that I could read? Any books you see that would help me? Any videos I
There's,
could watch?
there's, there's lots of information online. All If a person wanted to start reading up on working with special educational needs, the first thing I would actually suggest that to go online. There is so much literature. There is so much articles there. Um, they can start off with typing in working with SEN students or children. Lots of information will come up. I mean, it's not always about buying books. There's so much literature online. They can go into Google Scholar. A lot of people have done studies and case studies about working with special educational needs students and children. So I would say it's about taking time out, an hour a day, just to study and see what different types of special educational needs students and children are out there. You know, it doesn't have to just be autistic children. It could be various other special educational needs. And so that would be the first start that I would do. I'll go online. Most of these books are always updating. You know, they're regularly updating various editions, so that's what I would start with. And some of these articles, they have certain books in there and in the reference pages where the students may want to have a look and say, okay, I'll have a look in this book and see what information I can get out of this particular book or edition. So I wouldn't run and buy a book straight away. I would do a lot of research online and make a list of all the things that that's out there,
Yeah.
and then think about books to buy.
Okay, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Everything is right in our fingertips, right?
Disposal.
So
Yes. Yeah.
it's all accessible. So thank you
Yeah.
so much. But to end, because
Yeah.
we're wrapping up now, this has been such a great interview.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if what advice though would you give to high school students who are watching this video right now and they're wondering, I wonder if this is a good field for me to go into. Just they're just playing around with their thoughts a bit. Like, what advice would you give to them?
I would give them advice to surround themselves with people of special educational needs. They must have like a family member or people in the community. Familiarize yourself with people in that area so you know if that's something that you would like to work in. Also, I'm sure the local authority or the government in Jamaica have certain institutions where they do workshops and things like that. So I would suggest that they try and tap into the workshops or whatever facilities that they have out there already in Jamaica to see if that's an area that they'd want to develop their career in. Um, that's what I would start off with. It's just familiarizing yourself with people in that area. I'm not quite sure of the schooling system in Jamaica where special needs children or students are attending. So it's about finding out where there are, you know, doing some voluntary work if they can, just being a helping hand to a family that has special needs children or adults, you know, and just getting to understand that area of work to say, okay, I want to develop my career further in this area. Always be making notes. Always constantly making notes. Put I would say to students, put yourself in a position where you can care, you can care, you can contribute to that person or that group of people's life, and then they'll know, God will put it in their heart to say, this is a career path that I'm chosen for you. Sometimes we jump in that career path. Sometimes we just end up falling in. I didn't plan this career path, but God has put me here, and I love it.
It's your calling.
Yes, yes, yes,
Definitely,
yes.
definitely. Well, thank you so, so much, Mr. Bo, for such an exciting episode. We're so happy you could have made it, and we
Thank
just
you.
want to say thank you. You,
Thank you.
you've given us a wealth of info. So all our viewers watching right now, they know what to do, they know where to go, they know the qualities they need to have, and we thank you for that. So
Thank you so much for having me. You're welcome. Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you. And that is the end of another exciting episode. It was indeed so informative. Thank you so much to our viewers for tuning in each and every week. And we do hope you've been finding these sessions informative. Tune in next time for another episode. Remember, if you have any more questions, you may visit our website at linkyourpurpose.com and also follow us on all our socials at Link Your Purpose. Thank you so much for tuning in over and over. We couldn't have done this without you, and we will see you for the next episode. Bye bye.